Hi everyone, my name is Guy and I'm the CEO and founder of Tutango. I want to talk about customer success. More specifically, I want to ask you a question and also try to answer it myself. If customer success is working so well for so many companies, why not all companies, especially now with COVID, are implementing customer success? And I want to share with you some of my findings. So that's the topic, and let's jump right in. I started my journey in customer success 10 years ago, founding Tutango as a technology company for customer success. Our stated mission has always been to democratize customer success with technology, more specifically, building technology that capture best practices and allow companies to start, accelerate customer success initiatives, and work through that. And there's this question that I keep on answering every week and every day and every period, which is, how do we accelerate even further than it is today? So few things that I don't think we should doubt. The first one is customer success is simple, right? I think the concept is very, very simple. It's not complicated. That what draws so many professionals into this mindset of customer success. In many businesses, it's important to make sure customers get value from your products and services. And if you do this well, they will renew their subscription, they will buy more, they will stay for longer. So basically, by creating value, you are maximizing the customer lifetime value. That is not a complex concept. I also wrote in my book, Farm Don't Hunt, that if you want to make sure that customers are renewing your product or making positive decision towards your brand, you got to make sure that everything across their journey works. Meaning that the renewal time is not the only time that you got to prove the value. You got to prove it all along the way in order for customers to be successful. I call it drivers and outcomes. Focus on the drivers to get to the outcome that you're looking for. Hence, farm don't hunt. Focus on seeding, nurturing, growing, to get the fruit at the end of it. So the concept is simple. I don't think that's the reason why companies are not implementing that. It's actually being adopted as a concept by many, many companies. So could it be that it doesn't work, right? It's a nice concept, doesn't drive meaningful business outcomes. So I think we've got enough evidence that show that customer success works across many, many businesses, across many industries, companies that implement a customer-centered point of view to drive value to their customers are significantly better than competitors. Suffice to say, mention a few names like Amazon with its customer-centered mindset, Zoom, which has built its entire brand around focusing on value to customers. Even more specifically, their brand is and was all around meet happy. So have the greatest meeting experience, and that's what drove this phenomenal success of a company like that. But there are others as well, and they're leading their industry. So customer success works. It's not hard to understand. It's easy, and it does work. So maybe there's not enough sense of urgency. I think the first motivation for customer success was the growth of SaaS, subscription models and cloud distribution models and so forth. Then customer centricity with the successes of the companies that I mentioned before. And now even more than ever before with COVID, customers is your business. So customer success is more needed than ever before. So how can we accelerate it even further? So maybe the answer is that customer success technology is not needed. And I can share with you firsthand that I've seen the impact of customer success technology on companies. Ability to actually use technology that makes it easy to connect the customer data, to orchestrate the customer engagement, to track customer status and share it across the organization, to communicate with customer, basically running customer engagement models and customer engagement orchestration at scale across key accounts, volume accounts. So technology works. Moreover, technology also has the benefit of capturing best practices from past experiences and implementing this in new experiences. So I don't think it's that. I think, the concept is simple. It works. We have abundant of evidence that demonstrates that customer success works. The need is more than ever before because of past successes, because customers are the core of businesses, because of COVID, because of digital transformation, and technology works. So, what slows us down? That's what I want to talk about and answer this. I think first and foremost, what slows us down is words. For some reason, I guess because of the concept of customer success is so powerful, we as an industry chose to treat customer success in a very academic fashion. And that's great. There's a lot of energy in the customer success market. There's a lot of groups that are talking about customer success, but the way in which the concept of customer success is introduced into businesses is in a very academic fashion. If you want an example, it would be like, if I want to build a mobile application, right? That's simple. So there are basically two paths to go there. One is go through computer science. So I gotta be a computer scientist first. I gotta go to a 4-year college, get a 4-year college degree, then take a course of how to develop mobile applications, and then 4 years and 6 months later I can start building the mobile application to get the first version of it for 4 years and 7 months later, because building mobile application is not very complicated and does not necessarily require a full degree in computer science in order to do that. There's another path which is more practical, more kind of engineering focused, which is simply get educated on how to build mobile application and build it. That could take anywhere between 3 to 6 to 7 months, but that's it. So 4 years and 7 months, almost 5 years versus 6 months. It's a huge difference. And I think that's very similar to the way we've all been trying to address customer success. Instead of approaching in a very practical manner and implementing customer success and learning by doing, we had to get all the concepts right and kind of understand all the relationship between customer value and the mechanics of the cost and the benefit and organizational structure and who's doing what and how to get started and so forth. And I believe a lot of companies are still there trying to figure out, how to do it, because it sounds very, broad concept. Learning by doing, figuring everything out first, and then kicking it off, right? So I think this is a big one. And many folks that I talk to, and I kind of that I know that are passionate about customer success and even have buying powers in their companies, when you ask them, why are you not starting? For whatever words they're using, it sounds big and difficult. So I want to dismiss this concept by introducing the concept of learning by doing. The second or few other points that are kind of related to that are, so I mentioned that the first one is being a bit too theoretical about what customer success is versus learning by doing, compared to sales. If you want to sell, you go find a client and you sell them. Then you deal with the sales process and scalability and so forth. The same thing needs to happen within customer success. The second one is, which is kind of tied, is there's a lot of conversation around the concept of customer success, but I've already claimed that the concept is simple. It's very easy to understand, but there's a lot of conversation around the concept versus about the practice, right? And practice is where the learning really happens, in my honest opinion, based on my experience. The third one is, that's clearly kind of tied to what I'm very passionate about, is people are using the wrong tools. So it takes them longer to get started, it takes them longer to learn. There's a lot of, could be a lot of frustration, because when you sell within the organization, customer-centered business, customer first, customer centric, customer success, everyone wants to be involved, but when results are not coming up as quickly as possible, there's a problem. Secondly, when you sell this idea too, when it's too big, you set the wrong expectations and using the wrong tools, and that's kind of the point of this topic. Basically, slows you down. So think about tools as a path to acceleration and not as technology tools as path for acceleration, to connecting data, to getting everyone on the same page, to orchestrate, to engagements, to change engagement, to communication. And the more the tools are integrated, and preferably a single tool is integrated and does all of that, the easier it is to implement and make changes. So many folks that like the concept, starting to implement, use the wrong tools, fail, and get a pause before they try again. So that is the third reason why not everyone is implementing customer success. The last one, we are in 2020. We are over a decade of experience of what and how to implement customer success successfully. We've seen some tremendous and amazing results. Don't start from the very basic. Build on others' learning. Use the learnings of others to as a much more advanced starting point. It would be like as if if we start software development exercise right now, or like build a product development team, and instead of using the latest tools and the latest methodologies, we're going to start arguing whether waterfall is the model for software development or agile. I think it's pretty clear. You do it agile, then you move on. You focus on the next things. Or on-premise versus cloud. It's cloud. Moving on. Decisions have already been made. The same thing with customer success. Build on what works. Use technology that captures the best practice that allows you to get there. Don't start with the screws and the very basic building blocks, because just too slow compared to where everyone else is in the market. Everyone else is in the market today. So as you can see, I'm very passionate about democratizing customer success, and I'm very passionate about the concept of learning by doing and building your flywheel with customer success. So that's the topic of my conversation. I'm going to do this with a good colleague of mine, Carlos from HPE. So looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much.